Carrie takes a swing at a Kill Bill myth. She and the boys get beaten black and blue as they find out if you can first punch through.
He's alive!
And then climb out of a coffin that's buried 6 feet under.
Well, Calaveras County says it's okay. The quarry says it's okay. The police department and the bomb squad says it's okay. Can we blow this thing up?
No, we have to tell a whole story first, like always. And this one begins with a fan who wrote us about a story they've read on a calendar hanging in their house. A World War II gunner fell from a plane without a parachute, fell 22,000 feet into the glass roof of a French train station at the very moment a bomb went off in that train station, cushioning his fall and allowed him to survive.
It's a tall tale from World War II. Cruising at 22,000 feet, an unfortunate airman fell out of the gun turret of his plane. Without a parachute, the prospect of a soft landing looked awfully hard. But as he neared the ground, a 1,000-pound bomb blew up in a train station beneath him and sent out a shockwave that actually cushioned his fall.
We get a lot of fan mail saying that we have the best job in the world, and I won't disagree with that. But there are also days, like this morning, when it is the hardest job I have ever done, by far.
And that's because so far with this myth, they've had setback after setback. Severed lines, burst balloons, and grounded dummies. What could have gone wrong has.
That's it, we're officially screwed.
Today may be a new day, but things haven't improved.
Yeah. That's just about the funniest thing I've ever seen. That's his ear.
He's like a cookie after baking, you know? He's all kind of flattened out.
It's already so hot that Ted's feeling a little flat. And that's not the only problem with this heat.
It's well over 100 degrees in the shade out here. We've got 500 pounds of explosives in here, high explosives. It's military spec, and you know, if we're anywhere in our work area and this should happen to go off, there won't be anything left of us, period.
Luckily, he has an elaborate plan to avoid a premature projectile.
So I put a blanket on it.
Once Jamie's attached his security blanket, it's time to get cooking.
Well, it's crunch time. The wind's kind of gentle, and we have to go. So it's now or never. We're inflating the balloons, and we're going to do it.
Everything that could go wrong, this is like the myth of Job is what's happening here. But I've got 7 balloons. I think each of them are at least 20 to 25 pounds. It gives me 150 some odd pounds. I think it's enough to lift our airman. The bomb squad is coming back up here, and then we just cross our fingers. There goes nothing. Okay, that's cinching up on our airman. Now he's off the ground. Now he's off the ground!
At last, turret gunner Ted has got his wings. Slowly but surely, he climbs 500 feet. He may be slightly off target, but the guide wire will ensure that he falls right into the station, which means it's time to retreat to safety.
Well, our guy is airborne. The balloons are up, cable's good. Once they push that detonator, our airman will drop for approximately 6 seconds on a blasting cap, and then a second blasting cap will detonate the bomb under the train station, hopefully at the very femtosecond that our airman is touching the roof.
With the boys a safe distance away, it's finally time to put the myth of the 22,000-foot fall to the test. And here's what's going to happen. Airman Ted is suspended so that he's 500 feet off the ground. He's connected to the train station via a guide wire. On Adam's cue, the balloons will be cut and Ted will fall. 6 seconds later, the 1,000-pound bomb will boom. Will Ted survive?
Everybody, say it with me. Jamie wants big boom.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He's falling. He's falling. He's going towards it. He's going towards it. No. Wow, here comes the shockwave.
The booms created a mushroom cloud of frightening proportions, and it's also set the surrounding hills on fire.
Oh, look at that!
Fortunately, the county fire department are quick to respond.
And there's
This day's
and they dumped.
This day's just getting better and better.
Come to ground zero, it's awesome.
Frank will be right there. You're my new best friend.
And after an explosion like that, Frank's my new best friend too. On the high speed, you can clearly see the cushioning shockwave before the area gets blown to smithereens. But what happened to Ted? Well, unfortunately, there was a malfunction in the guide wire, which meant that he fell way off target. But the charge caused so much carnage that Jamie and Adam should still be able to draw some equally powerful conclusions.
If there's one thing in this whole blast site that tells you what the real deal is with this kind of explosion and being close to it, it's right over here. Check it out.
Whoa!
It totally wrapped around it.
That is crazy. Oh my God.
Can you imagine what this piece of steel would have done to you if it hit you instead of this tree? I mean, it's like a necktie. We're not going to get that off of there.
No, we're gonna cut it here and display it proudly on your shelf.
There's so much shrapnel that if Ted had fallen into the station, our gunner would have been a goner.
Here's the body. There's the steel. There's more steel way over there and a lot further, so...
There's no way. There's just no way. The idea is that the pressure of this one human body somehow equalized the pressure of the bomb going off. That's just not going to happen.
3, 2, 1.
Tori, Grant, and Carrie have found that trying to clouch your way out of a casket, Kill Bill style, ain't all it's cracked up to be. But as a potential final nail in this myth's coffin, there's one last part to test.
Now, we busted the part of the myth where you could punch through a casket. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test the part of the myth that if you did bust through the casket, could you dig through 6 feet of dirt? So what I need to do is I need to reconfigure this rig here so that we can get inside of it and safely try to dig our way out.
Now, if the movie heroine was superhuman or the coffin lid riddled with woodworm, maybe she could have punched through. And if so, could she then have escaped? To find out, Tori replaces the casket lid with a sliding hatch to hold back the dirt above.
All right, so this is the trap door. It's gonna open like that and then we'll start digging our way out.
He's also built an acrylic casket with a specially designed escape hatch that's all ready for a trial run.
So the new casket's in place, and what I'm gonna do right now is just test the trap door and see if it's working. Oh, it works. And I'm out safely.
Well, sort of safely.
Better than dying.
Meanwhile, Grant's got the dirt on dirt.
So dirt weighs between 65 and 88 pounds per cubic foot. And we know from our buried in sand experiment that those types of pressures on your chest cavity can get very dangerous very quick. Now, traditionally, caskets are buried 6 feet under dirt. But for safety, we're gonna start out with just 2 feet.
But even only 2 feet under, Carrie, for one, is sure Tori's digging his own grave.
I have a feeling the coffin's gonna fill up and pin him before he's able to dig his way out.
So, pepped up by Carrie's confidence, Tori puts on an anti-crush suit.
Yeah, this ought to stop the dirt from compressing my lungs.
And, most important, a fire brigade breathing apparatus.
Go. Is this how Houdini died?
One panicked look later, and it's go time.
Be careful in there.
Tori carefully slides his way into the coffin as he prepares to literally put his life on the line.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna open the door slowly.
All of a sudden, this seems like a horrible idea.
Tori's burial ritual begins. Carrie releases the trap door, exactly as if he'd been able to punch a hole in that coffin lid. The trickle of dirt begins to fall in on him.
Bro, this is freaky.
Okay, keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Carrie opens it wider, and it rapidly becomes an avalanche. And it's panic stations below.
Whoa, 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 stop, stop.
I'm all right, I'm all right. No, I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm all right.
The 2 feet of dirt has caved in on him, but there's a bonus. It's opened up a rabbit hole above.
Got daylight. Woo!
but still trapped. He pushes the dirt to the bottom of the coffin, wriggles, and then scrapes his way upright. And with a massive effort, actually triumphs in tunneling his way out.
I'm alive!
Tori's proved that at 2 feet under, assuming you could open the coffin lid, escape is just conceivable. But the myth calls for a normal burial.
Now, our next setup is going to be under the full 6 feet of dirt.
Yep, you heard right, folks. Grant is going to be buried a full 6 feet under. But so he doesn't die, his plan is to sit up, not lie down in the coffin. Okay, let's pause for Carrie's prediction.
I think about 4 feet. It's all gonna collapse down and completely go pear-shaped.
Okay, Carrie, go ahead.
Carrie at last dishes the dirt on Grant.
Keep going.
Thousands of pounds of soil slithers south.
Stop!
And almost immediately, Grant's buried to the neck, unable to move, at least until the rig breaks under the pressure. It's easy to see that if Grant had been lying down, he'd be dead.
Well, I guess that worked well.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
The air tunnel that Tori used never opened up for Grant, and that meant escape was totally impossible. So let's go inside and put the epitaph on this myth.
All right, you guys, where do we stand with coffin punch?
We definitely have to bust this one. I mean, there's no way we were even able to punch through the lid of the casket, and that's with the full strength of the martial artist, both in the shop and when the casket was buried.
Okay, and say you could punch a hole in the casket, and you could punch that hole big enough that you could crawl out of. There's no way you're crawling through 6 feet of dirt. Look how much trouble you had with 2 feet.
And I had a mask on and a respirator.
Yeah, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to see or breathe.
Yeah, so this one is definitely busted.
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 It's all about reverse driving in this episode and how easy it is versus how easy Hollywood makes it seem. Whoa! Jamie and I have tried out some courses ourselves. We've been trained by a cop who's an expert in driving in reverse. Here we go. 3, 2, reverse. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So now it's time for me to take all the skills I've thus far learned and put them to a real test. I'm here in an abandoned neighborhood in Marina, California, where my crew has set up a course, and I'm just supposed to drive as fast as I can in reverse. I'm actually pretty curious how this is going to turn out.
This final farewell is a half mile of twists and turns, but it's got a whole lot more besides. As the guys have put the movie mayhem back into this myth. And that's not just the props.
We're going to put a little pressure on Adam because I'm going to be in a cop car on his ass the whole way, with the sole exception that when he sees me and takes off, I'm going to be outside my car. So he's going to have just a little bit of a head start.
Adam's goal, like the classic Hollywood hero, is to make it to the finish line before those pesky police.
That is a cop. That's bad.
But with reverse gear his only option, will he escape to victory?
Here we go. Bye, cop.
The chase is on.
Here we go. Getting the heck out of here.
And by the time Jamie's got going, Adam's already out of sight.
I'm gonna make a right-hand turn here. Don't let go of that wheel.
By shifting to the central position, he's able to navigate with skill.
Whoa! Flaming car! Dude! Oh, man! Post-apocalypse!
At least when he wants to.
I want those boxes! Come on! Yeah!
But while his steering is supreme,
I don't know where he is. I hope he's not close.
his speed, while fast, is no match for Jamie.
Oh, fruit stand! I'm not gonna miss the fruit stand!
Adam may be down, but he's not out as he reverses back uphill.
Ah! I'm going still!
A strategy that the Heineman then copies. With both drivers now revving in reverse, it's a case of who's gonna blink first.
Oh, Yet another in a long line of things that we should just set up for the public and charge money for. That was awesome.
Step out of the car with your hands up.
That was so much fun. Oh my God. That was the best thing ever. Well, that went pretty much as good as I could have imagined. First off, the course was amazing, full of all sorts of really interesting obstacles, from fruit stands to dudes fixing their cars to, come on, a flaming car. I also was able to go through it really fast. I mean, fast enough where I almost lost control of the car on a couple of the straightaways, like it started fishtailing, but because of Brian's training, I was able to bring the car back under control. Ho-ho! Almost lost a little control there. Then, I actually spun out and Jamie hit me, but again, in reverse, I bolted back up the hill and Jamie chased me, and it was all going pretty good. But I was going too fast on the accelerator, and I spun out. He jammed into my front wheel, and I could not move. Test over.
So how you want to call it?
I have to say, I started this story thinking it was going to be handily busted, and I am now thinking that it's actually plausible.
The next survival technique we're going to try is breaking the window. Unfortunately, we can't break the window because it's a pool and, you know, people would get glass in their feet or something. So what we've done is rig the window with a lubricant and with high voltage so that we can really positively pull it down.
The high voltage trigger should be enough to counter the differential pressure.
All right, here we go. That sound again. Here we go, rushing in past my feet. Wow, we are dropping really fast. All right, I'm sinking really fast now. I'm about to hit the switch. In 3, 2, 1.
Adam hits the switch and water enters the cabin like a flood. But he rides out the torrent and escapes.
I lived. The water rushed in just as I thought it would, and it was quite intense. But I held my breath. I only had to hold it for a few seconds because pretty much very quickly the cab filled up. I was able to just go out the window and come to the surface.
By smashing the window, Adam survived. So in case of emergency, break glass. As the silent observer of Adam's numerous dunkings, Jamie has had time to meditate, and he's had a vision. He calls his revelation
Simply patience. The idea being that if you sit there, you relax, you conserve your energy and therefore your air, you'll be able to apply your energy when you need it, right at the last minute when the car's equalized and there's not going to be any problem getting out of it, instead of sitting there fighting the whole way and then you drown.
Let the car fill up. Let it settle on the bottom. Then casually open the door and swim to the surface. It's the maximum conservation of energy technique. It's very Jamie.
Gone through this before. You can totally relax.
Adam centers himself inside the cabin. As the water level rises, he goes with the flow and serenely lets the car fill with water. He's under just as long as he was in the first test, but now he's not using up oxygen trying to yank open the door. The emergency air tank remains untouched. Now that's calm under differential pressure. When the cabin equalizes, he gently pushes open the door.
I survived! Woo! The MythBusters technique worked! Woo! How many minutes was I down?
1 minute 37.
1 minute 37. I could have been down for another 15 or 20 seconds. That was beautiful. It was so, it was very cool. The longest period of time for the car to level out. Once it did though, I still felt like I had plenty of breath. I just cracked the door, gave a thumbs up to the camera,
sauntered up to the surface.
Jamie has a final, watery rumination.
Of course, in the real world, this technique's a little more problematic. Everything's happening so fast, you don't know what the depth of the water that you're in is. Best is to open that window before you get water up to it, and then you're golden.
In the words of a Zen master, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. Looks like the guys have narrowed down this myth, just so.
Well, how are we going to wrap this one up?
Well, the original myth we started with, that you can't open the car door until the cab is full of water, is absolutely confirmed. And we've actually looked at 4 really viable survival techniques.
Of course, the best one is just don't drive into the water in the first place.